Hey, what's up YouTube? This is StrikePath, and today I'm going to teach you how to make this growl sound. Alright, first things first, turn off all the effects and let you hear what the patch itself sounds like. Nothing special. Alright, let's get into it. So, oscillator 1 and 2 is all we're using. Oscillator 1, modern talking, bend minus plus, pitch it down 12 semitones, wavetable position all the way to the left, intensity all the way to the left, and then come down here, grab macro 2, boom, boom, make sure it wraps all the way around, amp all the way up, and yeah, leave that as is. Oscillator 2 is AI down here, bend minus plus, down 24 semitones, wavetable position all the way to the right, intensity all the way to the left, come down here, macro 3, click, oops, all the way around, all the way around. Not using oscillator 3. Modulation oscillator, the ring mod, is just to like 10 o'clock, pitch down 24 semitones, phase, straight up and down, position, straight up and down. No filters, make sure your mix is on mix 1. This doesn't matter, I think parallel, just to be safe. Classic tube, pointed just towards the E in dry wet, and just before the D on drive. Dimension expander, just before the D in dry wet, and just barely on, like barely for the size. Alright, under the voicing tab, change it to monophonic, trigger always, and go over to the oscillator tab, restart via gate, up 2, down -2 for the pitch bend, and time pointed just towards the E. Alright, now open up the routing tab and make sure that you click insert 1 here, insert 2 there, and then come down here to your inserts and click them both to the sine shaper, and put the dry wet for insert 1 pointing just past the T, and the drive straight up and down. On insert 2, have the dry wet pointing towards the R in dry and towards the D in drive. Alright, I usually just click everything that's not being used off, not using the EQ. For the amp envelope, it's just basic. It's the stock settings. Come down here, click this arrow, make sure it opens up, click configure, click 2 and 3, exit out of that, and then map these to macro 2, so right click, and go to macro, it should say map to macro 2, and then map to oscillator 1 or whatever, but it's still going to be that same thing. And that's it for the patch. Make sure it still sounds good. Yep, and just real quick before I forget, click on the MIDI and open up this envelopes part by clicking this E if it's not open already, and I've just had it pitched down like so. It's fairly common on bass patches for me to do that. Moving on, I watched the Dai Cohen video on the FM8 bass patch, and JMac also did a video on it. I'll have links to both their videos below. Basically explain this. Here's with these EQs on. So I have everything mapped already, just randomly. If you don't know about these automation lanes, they're really helpful because now you can come in here and map everything together and don't have to click back and forth a zillion times. Hugely helpful. Alright, for these EQs, I'm going to open up this mapping. This is for the first EQ, and these are for the second. And I'm just going to click on each one of these little EQ things and bring it up, and you can pause and copy the settings. So it's not too complicated, it's just a lot of settings. So make sure you get all these down. What I've done is I've actually gone through, grouped these, and then mapped everything to a macro and made it an audio effect rack and saved it right here, so I can just pull it onto a track and it's ready to go. Alright, moving on. Oops. The compressor, it's just threshold minus 24 dB. Its output is set to negative 4 dB. Makeup button is clicked. Dry wet's 100%. Attacks 1 millisecond. Releases 20 milliseconds. Here's what it sounds like with that. And without. So it just squishes the hell out of it, pretty much. Alright, now we're going to open up these overdrives. Here's without them. And with them. Just adds a little character. On the first overdrive here, it's at 4.07 kilohertz. The Q is at 3.02. Drives 32%. Tones 60%. Dynamics 40%. And dry wet is 21%. On the second one, it's 450 hertz. Q's at 1.8. Drives at 32%. Tones 60%. Dynamics are at 40%. And dry wet's at 21%. Alright, and Saturator. Now watch your volume, because the Saturator does make this patch quite a bit louder. So here's without, and with, watch your volume. Just gives it that presence. All it is drives 13.5 dBs, output 0, dry wet 0. It's set to analog clip with no color or anything. Pretty basic. Soft clips on. Alright, here is the part that makes it really loud. Without and with. And all this is 2 auto filters set to the notch setting. They're identical to each other, except for the rates, pretty much. So what it is it's just a group, like an audio effect rack. Map the frequency to macro 1 for both. Well, just do it for one and then copy it, because they're the same. And then the LFO is just 22.4. Rates at 0.14 hertz. Phase is 0 and Q is 2.37. On the second one, the Q is 2.17 and the rate is 0.08 hertz. And make sure you map both those to macro 1. And the third filter here is the wow filter. Is the default patch. Go user default, and then click the band reject. Click vowel mode. Set vowel A to U and set vowel B to I. Overdrive's at just under 30. Resonance is about 55, and dry wet is at about 90, 85-ish. And then map the cutoff to the same macro 1. And then what I've done is map this to the modern breakneck here, which is the same as these two. Alright, and that's pretty much it. Here's what everything sounds like. I'll play the loop for you one more time. Alright. One thing about this patch is it's extremely flexible. If you group everything, the whole instrument rack, so you get more macros, you can map both these, the EQ and modern breakneck, to the macro 1 in the new instrument rack, and you can remap it to sound totally different, like so. It's just options. Play around with it, really. Change the wavetables, add more effects, change the effects, blah 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 blah. This whole strike path growl will be on my Facebook for download, and you will also be able to get the EQ and Vespers audio effect rack, which I forgot to point out. I did get this from DJ Vespers' neuro-bass tutorial. This is a small part of the chain, but if you watch his tutorial, he goes over everything in depth, and I would definitely recommend checking him, J-Mac, and let's see, Di Cohen out. I don't know why I can't remember his name. Anyways, check out all the links below, download everything. Yeah, follow me on Facebook, send me recommendations. I'll do tutorials on whatever you guys want, whether it's sound design, drums, builds, anything. Let me know. I'm Strike Path. See you around.